What's going on, fellas? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Grizz. I hope you're having an awesome time out there in the field. We're going to be talking about the leaks happening in Black Ops 4 Zombies. And this all comes out of a video that I watched from a man, Jay Stone. But even further, a man named Lime Tiger, who's blocked me on Twitter, has come across these leaks. Drop a like on today's video if you go on to enjoy, and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section if you're new. And if anything here, anything at all sparks an idea, feel free to hit me up over on Twitter at GrizzViolent. It's the best place to keep talking zombies, multiplayer, or the upcoming Battle Royale, Blackout, for Black Ops 4. And if you want to take your first step towards joining the Grizz Force, be sure to activate that bell icon so you can get push notifications for community polls or any sort of videos that I push out towards you. So let's go ahead and get started right away, fellas. One of the first things that I want to talk about here is the perks. I'm not sure if all of these are going to be perk vapors because we have Blood of the Dead. Base, I believe, is just you without perks. Bandolier, Deadshot, D-Wish, I don't know what that is. E-Cherry, Electric Cherry, Mule Kick, Percept, I assume that's Perception, kind of like Vulture 8. Quick Revive, Slider, which is going to be PhD, hello, PhD. Stamina, Stronghold, Time Slip, which might be that one from Barry, kind of like changing time back, I'm not sure. Tortoise, and Widow, which might be Widow's Wine, I'm assuming. So these are the list of perks that we got right now, hot and heavy, from the Black Ops 4 beta. However, where we're 50-50 right now is not quite knowing what's going to be on Blood of the Dead, what's going to be on the other maps, and 5, let alone 5, because 5 might be correlated to Blood of the Dead, where we have perk bottles, and the other maps, Voyage of Despair and 9, where we have perk vapors. So that's what I wanted to talk about with perks. Let's talk about special equipment. The ones that are listed are Acid, Claymore, and Wraithfire. Interesting enough, Acid might be a type of grenade. Claymore, we know what that is. Wraithfire, absolutely not sure what that is. But 3 types of equipment were in the code. Of course, we're going to have more along the DLC season as we move forward. And if you played the beta and you're seeing here, there's a ton of equipment that was selectable in the mode Heist. That was primarily one of the most options you got in this game mode, and I think it's going to play a big factor when it comes to Blackout, the Battle Royale. But other types of equipment that we know are what? Grenades, Simtex nades, throwing knife, tomahawk. These types of things might be introduced and just aren't in the code right now. But when we think of Mob of the Dead, 2 things come up when we think of equipment. We think of the Golden Spork and we think of the Tomahawk, the Hell's Retriever upgraded, the Hell's Redeemer. These are 2 different types of equipment that I think will be earnable in the game, not necessarily selectable from a menu. That's something that I thought I should bring up because some people are probably wondering about the Hell's Retriever and what's going to happen with that. I think that'll be in the game and we'll be able to unlock that as sort of an Easter egg. All we did was fill up the Hellhounds in Mob of the Dead. It might be that simple as well. Let's talk about special weapons. This is what happens when you activate your LT and RT at the same time. We have Base, which I believe is, you start out that way. We have the Shock Ram, the Flame, Hammer, the Katana, Takio's Katana we might be able to use. The Minigun, which I'm assuming might be Dempsey's. Another one that showed up was RA. Then we have Ragnarok, which we know what that is, the Gravity Spikes, and Viper. So we have 4 sets of characters on each set of map, right? We have our premise characters, and then we have our characters on Voyage of Despair 9. So each one of these might start out with somewhat of a default special, and then their weapons can be upgraded as you earn and rank up. I'm thinking ranking up is going to be a very big part of Zombies, including when we unlock things. So specials are definitely something that's going to be included in that list, but let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section below. What are you thinking on this special equipment? I think we're going to start out with somewhat of a default, and then we'll be upgrading as we go and rank up. Something that I wanted to talk about was seasons in Zombies. I think part of the DLC season isn't going to be DLC 1, DLC 2. I think we've kind of moved beyond that. I think we'll be moving in the standard of seasons, where at launch we'll have Season 1, DLC 1 around that time we'll start Season 2 of Zombies, DLC 2 will start Season 3, and so on. And since Battle Royale is going to be taking the place of the campaign, I think this will be the best route for Treyarch to take, going in zombie seasons instead of zombie DLCs. But let's talk about the maps. We know of 4 maps, but there's definitely possibility of a 5th map. ZODT8 is Voyage of Despair. Escape is Blood of the Dead, which I think the Easter egg might be Awaken the test subjects. Towers is 9. Office is Classified. And Mansion is one that showed up. We think this might be a 5th DLC map at launch, or this is the code name for DLC 1. I know there was confusion before when we looked at the Black Ops Pass. It said 4 zombies experiences, and a lot of people were like, well, we still have the bonus map 5. But they weren't thinking that that meant the DLCs. So as we have DLC 1 through 4, like usual, those are the 4 DLC experiences that they state in the Black Ops Pass. So at first we did think maybe there was 5 DLC maps, but we were looking at it wrong. However, the code is showing something else that's called Mansion. And this might possibly be a survival map. I know survival maps are huge, okay? We have all these maps that are massive with huge Easter eggs, but ones that we can just chill and actually play zombies on, not worrying too much about solving an Easter egg, just for high rounds. I think survival maps might be key, and that's what Mansion might be. But let's go ahead and talk about the game modes, the ones that are listed. We have Z Classic, which means this is an option that's probably available in custom mutations. Remember, we have sort of a custom games now with Zombie where it goes beyond the limits of what we once knew. This means that things like dogs and stuff will be able to change. We'll be able to change how many dogs spawn in on a special wave. These types of things, where perk bottles also might be included in maps like Voyage of Despair 9, where we have perk vapors. This mode might change that. Then we have standard, which I think is the basic setting, and where we had Zombies Rush as another game mode might be Grief. Easter egg trials is something that we're used to. We've seen that starting in Gorod Karavi and then into Revelations. So that's possibly making a return, and of course tutorials. For those who are just starting to pick up zombies and want a good experience right off the bat, they can learn how to play. Tutorials is something I feel will help in the long run. So if you're a new player, you've never played zombies before, you've just had a taste, and now you want to hop into a mode that's fully dedicated towards zombies, this is the experience for you. Hop into the tutorial mode, see what's up. There's going to be difficulty settings. I believe in the tutorial mode, but also maybe in even the standard modes. There might be difficulty settings. That's what we're hearing right now. And this is something we haven't seen in zombies before, but for new players who are just starting, getting their feet wet in this mode, this is definitely an option that you have available to you now that we haven't seen in zombies in any of the iterations before. So if you've been following along the news updates as we've been going, you'll know that Jason Blundell did mention Zombie Rush, but he didn't give us much details on it. Now that we're seeing in the code that Grief mode is possibly returning, and you remember Grief mode, this was our PvP zombies, player versus player in zombies. We're used to player versus environment this whole time, but we haven't seen this since Black Ops 2. The reason it didn't come back in Black Ops 3, Jason Blundell even stated, was that he didn't find a right mixture that worked, and he was disappointed with the outcomes of what they've had so far. So they skipped it in Black Ops 3. They didn't feel that it was a complete product, and I think they've been working on it this entire time, which means that Grief mode, if it's returning, has had 6 years of development put into it. So when Treyarch stated that this zombie season is going to have more content than we've ever had before, I don't think they're lying. The code is absolutely showing that, and showing that at launch we're going to have a way better experience than Black Ops 3. Now, Black Ops 3 was great. We had Shadows of Evil, which was a map that blew all of our expectations. And even now, it's one of the best maps and the most played map of all time. People are still playing it. If you go and search in Black Ops 3 right now, what you're going to see is Shadows of Evil has the highest amount of players, even today. This means that Voyage of Despair is very relative to that experience. I think that this is the big honcho when it comes to the map that they're putting out right at launch. And also with Grief mode, we might have these maps being split up, or the survival maps that we're talking about, like Mansion, which might be DLC 1, but also might be the Zombies Rush map, where we're going to have Grief mode. There is still the possibility that Rush mode is going to be something different. However, the maps Voyage of Despair, Blood of the Dead, and 5 might be broken up into segments where we'll have Grief being a possibility. It's in the code, and if it's in the code, it definitely means something. So the fact that Grief is mentioned possibly means that we're going to have a player versus player mode here in Zombies. That's very exciting news, especially when it comes to replayability. And challenges. Are we going to have daily and weekly challenges? This is something that has been worked on through all the iterations of Call of Duty so far when it comes to zombies, and I think that's going to play a huge role in replayability as well. Let me know what you guys are thinking right now on these leaks, and I'll see you in the next video. Violent out!